Breaking news! Something unexpected is unfolding in Baltimore, and it's not just about roster cuts. The Ravens have quietly made some early moves that could send shockwaves through the locker room, and we're not just talking about bottom-of-the-roster names. There's a bold shift happening behind the scenes, and it points to a much bigger strategy heading into the 2025 season. Certain veterans might not be as safe as we thought, and a few young names, some of them undrafted, are creating serious tension in the building. The decisions being made right now could define how this team starts the season, or break it before it even begins. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens!" Let's dive in. As of right now, two names are already off the roster: undrafted offensive tackle Reed Holsky and tight end Baylor Cupp. Now, neither of these cuts come as huge surprises, especially Holsky, who despite some early optimism, faced an uphill battle in a stacked offensive tackle room. With Baltimore's depth on the edges and the focus on bolstering the interior O-line, Holsky just didn't fit the final puzzle. And Baylor Cupp? Well, with the tight end room already solidified by three locked-in talents and Patrick Ricard filling that hybrid role, there simply wasn't space. But here's the kicker. This is just the beginning. The Ravens are notorious for waiting until the final hours to finalize and release their 53-man roster. That deadline is 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and if last year was any indication, they'll be the last team to hit send on that list. You can almost feel the intensity in the facility right now. Coaches, execs, scouts, all working the phones, reviewing film, and making those final, brutal decisions. Let's talk quarterbacks. No surprise here, Lamar Jackson is QB1. The real story is behind him. Cooper Rush, the backup, is officially on the roster, and let's just say his preseason was a roller coaster. He looked rough against Indy, but bounced back strong in the following games, especially versus the Commanders. Confidence is growing, and while no one wants to think about a scenario where he's taking meaningful snaps, he's proven he can hold it down if necessary. Running backs? It's a loaded room, and John Harbaugh pretty much confirmed the team will keep 4. Derrick Henry leads the charge, no doubt about that. Justice Hill brings that reliable third-down versatility, and Keaton Mitchell, pure speed. But don't sleep on Rasheen Ali. He's not just a depth piece. He's been dominating special teams and carving out a niche as a core teamer. That's what earned him a spot, plain and simple. Wide receivers seem like the most locked-in group on the roster. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Walker, Tylan Wallace, and Lejendi Wester. No surprises, no controversy. Wester beat out Dayton Wade and Deontay Hardy, and frankly, made it look easy by the end of camp. This room is electric and ready to explode in 2025. Now tight ends. This is where it starts to get murky. Mark Andrews and Charlie Kolar are safe. Patrick Ricard, the Swiss Army knife, of course he's in. But what about Isaiah Likely? He's been recovering from surgery, and while the original plan had him back for week 1, things have gone quiet. That silence? It's causing real concern. Do the Ravens risk placing him on IR and losing him for the first 4 games? Or do they take the gamble and keep him on the 53? With Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, and Kansas City lined up in the first month, you better believe they won't likely active. That decision might come down to the wire. Offensive line is another position getting serious scrutiny. Ronnie Stanley, Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Falale, and Roger Rosengarten project as the starters. Backing them up, Carson Vincent, Ben Cleveland, Corey Bullock, and Joseph Noteboom. That's 9 total, 1 fewer than last year. Why? Because Baltimore might need to go heavier in other areas, like the secondary. And as for the right tackle job, it's Falale. Despite the fans hoping for Ben Cleveland, practice reps tell the real story. The coaches have seen enough. Defensive line? We're rolling with Justin Matabike, Travis Jones, John Jenkins, Broderick Washington, and undrafted rookie Anthony Poplas. And let's be honest, this group isn't as deep as last year. Poplas showed enough flash to stick, but the depth here is a concern. Baltimore's hoping the top-end talent carries the load. Outside linebackers? This is where things got shaken up. Adissa Isaac's injury opened the door for David Ohabo, who now survives another cutdown thanks to IR placements. Joining him are Ode Foa, Kyle Van Noy, Malik Ham, and Tavius Robinson. Ohabo's on borrowed time, and if he doesn't deliver early, the team might not keep waiting. Inside linebacker is headlined by Roquan Smith and Trenton Simpson, but rookie undrafted free agent Jay Higgins has stolen the spotlight. He's outperformed expectations with 15 tackles, a forced fumble, and a pick in the preseason. If he doesn't make the final roster, fans should riot. Straight up, he's earned it. Corners, 7 made the cut. Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Jair Alexander, Chidobe Awuzie, Demarion Williams, UDFA Kean Martin, and Jalen Armour Davis. Martin, like Higgins, has been everywhere in the preseason, interceptions, special teams plays, you name it. He's forced his way in, and it's a huge win for this rookie class. Safeties are rounded out by Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, Siren Neal, and another UDFA, Ruben Lowry. That's 3 UDFAs who cracked this projection, and it's not a fluke. This coaching staff rewards performance, not contracts. Because now we shift gears into part 2, and this is where things really get real. We just went position by position through the Ravens' projected 53-man roster. But let's take a closer look at the underlying storylines and controversies that could define the start of Baltimore's 2025 season. This is where it goes beyond the names on paper and into what these choices tell us about the direction of this team and the risks they're willing to take. Let's go back to the tight end room for a moment. Isaiah Likely is the wild card. His health status is shrouded in silence, which is extremely uncharacteristic for Baltimore when they're confident in a player's return. If they stash him on IR, that frees up a roster spot, but could also hurt them early with those massive matchups on deck. Andrews is the engine of that group, but the Ravens run heavy personnel more than most, and not having Likely for 4 weeks could force them into uncomfortable adjustments. If they activate him, it'll be a sign they're pushing chips in for an aggressive start. If not, expect another name to rise quickly. Maybe Kohler sees more targets than we anticipated early on. Now let's talk about that offensive line one more time. Daniel Falale being crowned the starter at right tackle is significant, not just because of what it says about his preseason, but because of what it says about the fate of Ben Cleveland. Cleveland was once touted as a future anchor on the line, but he's clearly fallen out of favor with the coaching staff. His place on the roster might be secure for now, but don't be shocked if he becomes trade bait or gets bumped by someone off waivers in the coming days. That position is still fluid. Speaking of fluidity, the defensive line depth is shaky, flat out. Yes, Mattabike is a star, and Travis Jones looks primed for a bigger role. But after that, John Jenkins is a journeyman, Broderick Washington has been inconsistent, and Anthony Poplos is promising but raw. This group doesn't have the same depth Baltimore has leaned on in the past. If there's any place they go shopping after cutdowns, it's likely here. Look for Eric DeCosta to be watching the waiver wire like a hawk. One of the most unexpected developments in this entire process has been the surge of the undrafted rookies. Jay Higgins, Kean Martin, Ruben Lowry, 3 guys who weren't supposed to be here, but forced their way onto the roster. Higgins in particular looks like a steal. He's all over the field, playing fast, physical, and smart. He outperformed Jake Hummel, who was brought in through free agency in nearly every measurable way. Baltimore choosing him over a veteran shows a commitment to youth and upside over safe decisions. That's a major cultural shift from the way this front office has played things in the past. Kean Martin might be the best story of the preseason. He's been lights out on special teams, had a pick 6, and showed tremendous instincts as a corner. Same for Lowry at safety. These two could form the new foundation of Baltimore's special teams unit, and you better believe that's something John Harbaugh values deeply. David Ojabo is the next big question mark. A second-round pick who was supposed to be a key part of this pass rush. He's now looking more like a guy who's surviving thanks to injuries to others, specifically Adissa Isaac. If Isaac doesn't need elbow surgery, Ojabo might not be here right now. And that's not an exaggeration. He's still got upside, but his clock is ticking. If he doesn't flash early in the season, he could be next out the door. On the opposite end of that spectrum, Trenton Simpson. He's locked and loaded as the number 2 linebacker, and everything we've seen suggests he's ready to explode. Roquan Smith is going to handle the leadership, the play calling, the dirty work, but Simpson has the chance to become the play